Hi, my name is Jovi Paul Sakaria from Central University of Kerala. The paper code is MM231. The title of the paper is The Emancipated Spectator, the Role of Elimination Ethics and Plasticity in the Formation of New Viewers. I would like to begin from the concept of the supplement in Derrida's works and how it offers a paradigm to understand cyberspace. Derrida problematizes Rousseau's text by a play on the meanings of the word supplement. The priority Rousseau gives to speech, which consequently makes writing a superfluous addition, is based on one certain meaning, which the other of which Derrida brings into focus. There is at once the essence of addition and the sense of substitution when one talks about the supplement. Based on this absent presence of the other sense, Derrida goes on to say how writing is no longer words on a page but differential trace structure which inhabits speech also. Uh, in other words, it also means that speech and writing are not opposed, but through the play of the supplement, the identities of both are questioned. And we can see there are two significations to supplement that Derrida provides. One is that the supplement adds itself, it is a surplus, a plenitude enriching another plenitude, the zenith of presence, it cumulates and accumulates presence. And two, supplementing and vicarious, the supplement is an adjunct, a subaltern instance which takes the place. Somewhere something is empty or absent, and you require a sign or a proxy to fill itself. Cyberspace, I propose, would behaves in a manner similar to this. There is at once the idea that something is added to reality, and at the same time there is a notion that it is somehow replacing it. Rousseau's insistence on the distinction between the two meanings is what Derrida challenges by bringing out how the other meaning is always already present in the text beyond what is said. Our experiencing of cyberspace, at times as an instrumental replication of the real, and in some other cases as a replacement or substitution of the real, reveals how it also follows the logic of the supplement. If we look at the image there, what we see is the transformation of something that we can call real, consider real, a satellite image of Paris. And if we take the first sense of the supplement, we see an addition of the real when we look at the Google Maps image. The red markers show the museums, or more precisely as to how we can reach them. At the same time, when we look at the other meaning, we see the absences in the real, which necessitates this Google Map. But what is real is once again something that we place in opposition to what is virtual, Google Maps in this scenario. The satellite image taken in 2015 is no more real than the markers we see, the marked map we see in the Google Maps application. It is through the virtual that we return to the real. The idea is that cyberspace is not merely an addition, an instrumental replication of what is real, neither is it a replication or substitution of the real, but at once it behaves as both, challenging the identities that we assign to both real and the virtual. Here, I would like to diverge from the usual trajectories that this discussion takes, either talking about hyperrealities and simulations, or talking about virtuality in a sense that it usurps the real, both of which retain the binary of real and virtual. I would like to focus instead on how artworks helps us, particularly participatory artworks would help us in focusing on the supplementarity of cyberspace and how bodies behave in the same. This particular map, made by Guy Debord in 1957, titled The Psychogeographical Guide to Paris, is an example of how art, by performing something other than established reality, provides new perspectives on reality itself. By rearranging the sensible order, an aesthetic expounded by Rancière, artworks problematize the position of the viewer and spectator in relation to reality. It challenges our gaze or at the very act of viewing itself. Participatory artworks, particularly in their multiple forms, imagined and encourage the formation of new viewers and spectators who would fall out of this traditional binary of active and passive by showing how art too is a supplement to life. Uh, Here we can see how this map of Paris is dismantled and recreated according to the subjective interpretations of the artist. Claire Bishop says the city is shown as fragmented, joined by blank areas indicated only by the flow of red arrows. It is not a record of the state of affairs, nor does it have a function. The map is unquestionably hopeless as a guide to Paris, but also as a guide to understanding Debord's own subjective responses to the city. What was real, that is, the spaces of urban Paris, is reimagined in one case as a potential vista of museums and in the other as a reimagining of space itself. Both add to and replace, and in a general sense, alter the what is taken to be real. If art reveals the aesthetic nature of life, cyberspace as a supplementary space reveals the virtuality of the real. Participatory artworks aimed at opening the gaze of spectators to their own potential as agents in the making of reality. Situationist International, for instance, wanted to renounce art, but for the sake of making everyday life as thrilling and enriching as art itself, and free from the crushing mediocrity of alienation. The supplementary reading of cyberspace renounces the distinction between the real and the virtual, only to realize how virtuality is always already present in the real. This, however, is not only restricted to the comprehension of spaces, but also on how bodies inhabit and mediate between these spaces. If participatory artworks open up the potential of spectators by reconfiguring spaces, Rancière's concept of emancipated spectators suggests how such a potential is indeed possible. He says, emancipation begins when we challenge the opposition between viewing and acting. When we understand that the self evident facts of seeing, saying, and doing themselves follow and belong to the structure of domination and subjection. It begins when we understand that viewing is also an action that confirms or transforms distribution of these positions. The spectator constantly translates between the established borders of the real and the virtual. But given the endless possibilities of the virtual, it is impossible to fully grasp what the spectator encounters, neither as space nor as bodies. There is always something left out that initiates translation and at the same time makes this translation an incomplete process. I would like to emphasize that this other is not only the bodies that we encounter in this space, but also it is the space which is constituted by visible and invisible structures. If we take the example of this Netflix series, Don't F with Cats, released in 2019, what we see is not merely the response that the narrators show to the other body that they find online, but instead, uh, instead the very formation of their virtual identities as anonymous yet personalized with their own set of rules and laws. It is a response that they show to the space that they encounter. It's a virtuality of the space that gives them scope, gives a scope for new identities, which is at once an addition and a substitution or replication of their real identities. The very space is, however, used by Luca Magnotta for creating his murderous spectacles. What it result in is a necessity for this translation process to happen. The spectators have to mediate between the spaces, but not with full visibility. But such another is not a reason for skepticism or pessimism, but according to Emmanuel Levinas, it is the need for ethics. It shows the need for ethics. What we see in Levinas is grounding of ethics on our inability to fully understand or appropriate or assimilate the other. What escapes understanding is in him is himself, the being. I cannot deny him partially in violence by grasping him in beings in general and by possessing him, says Levinas. This otherness of space, of these inassimilable, is brought forward by artistic works, and this is how I would suggest cyberspace 2 works. Participatory artworks through an aesthetic notion of space brings out the virtual potentials of the sensible order, though not free of domination and dissent. Our encounter with the other, according to Levinas, calls us as subjects, as ego, into an obligation and ethics, which, according to Catherine Malibu, forces a change. She would say transformation is the origin of alterity. Her focus is on the plasticity of plastic nature of identities, of selves where at any point one can become other to oneself. Destructive plasticity, she would say, is a part of life itself. When the alterity or otherness of space as virtuality is emphasized as an encounter, what we do come across is a transformation of the subject, a transformation grounded in an ethics of change. This particular work, The Working Family, tells us that the family in display earns more by being an object of gaze than what it earns on a normal day. The spectators are informed of their spectatorship, the context that makes one an object and one a sovereign subject. Both these positions are troubled within the space of the artwork. The virtual space provides the same. There in the virtual, we encounter the other, another space. This suggests two things. One, by a reading of Levinas, we see that this other raises an ethical demand. And two, a reading of Malibu would suggest that this encounter leads to an alterity, an othering of oneself. A new being comes into the world for a second time out of a deep cut that opens in the biography. If we link these following two quotes, we can see the implication of such a reading. Levinas says, "For me, the term ethics always signifies the fact of an encounter, of the relation of myself with the other, a scission of being in the encounter without coincidence." And Malibu adds, "Normal identity is a changeable and transformable entity right from the start, always liable to make a forebound or to say farewell to itself." What thus emerges is a new viewer, a new subject who shuttles between the possibilities of being other to oneself and being ethical to the other, an ethical circle of becoming ethical that promises the formation of a collectivity of emancipated spectators. Thank you.